Hey guys, this is Apollo here, and it's time for a very unorthodox deck profile. I am not the one who usually say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna do a deck profile Ezel. Now, when I mean unorthodox, I don't mean I'm. It's very unusual for me to do a deck profile Ezel, but rather to the gamers to put that out there. So first off, this is not my deck. It's actually Kaizer's deck. If you don't know who Kaizer is, Kaizer actually one of those opponents you see on my recorded matches on my channel. So, big thanks to Kaizer for letting me do a deck profile on his deck. So, which allows me to actually, go in depth with the deck itself, and also kind of our challenges when building this deck. Because, as you guys know, Platina Ezel, from what people are saying, isn't great. And while I do agree that Platina Ezel isn't really a deck you would play competitively, let alone Blunt Ezel itself. Um, yeah. This deck, as much as I want to say it's a casual deck, there's a lot of stuff cut out, and it's very budget oriented. And you see, notice Jordan deck profile, there's a lot of stuff being replaced with like budget alternatives. So I do apologize that it's not the usual deck profile as I would go, but that unfortunately that is as far as my control can go, because this is Kaiser's deck. I have no control of what he can buy or spend on the deck itself. What I do have got under my control is what I can, some advice I can give and some suggestions I can do if you want to make this deck more ideal to a more higher above casual, maybe to a certain extent semi-competitive. So I'll just put it out there. So it's very budget oriented and it's not my deck, so it's put out there. So with the release of Platina Ezel in DZ-BT09, there is a lot of talk going on with this deck, and unfortunately, when I was trying to help Kaiser, like, fine tune the deck, there's not many resources to this particular deck alone, and I don't blame the content creators for this, because the deck itself is not really there's no like universal way to build Ezel, as if I would put it myself. So without further ado, let's just go on deck profile. So we'll go on the right deck. Yeah, I know. Let's go. So the starter, you can run Criff, which means obviously for the jump right. So your great one, obviously, when Gareth skill, when this unit is upon by Bowman, you can search your deck for the Ezel order, put your hand, shuffle the deck. The second skill is not relevant because you only have one copy of it in the deck, obviously. Second one, the grade 2, I run Bowman. So Bowman skill acts on Vanguard circle once per turn. If your soul has a Gareth and Criff in soul, you can discard a card of hand, choose a Blunt Ezel from right deck, write a stand, and for that turn, that unit gets drive -1. The other skill is not relevant simply because, once again, you only pay one copy of it in the right deck, and that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna go through that in detail. So, and the main guy himself, it is Blunt Ezel. So his skill, continuous armor cycle, you can only write Ezel named cards when you write. So, means that you can write either Blunt Ezel or Platina Ezel in this case. We'll go through, that's not relevant. So let's go more deeper on this case. I feel like I'm zooming closely. Right, there we go. That's what I get. Right. So, Blunt Ezel skill, act on Vanguard Circle. At the beginning of your right phase, if you have 3 or less units, you can soul pass 1, look at top 3 card of the deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or lower unit card, call the rear guard, and put the rest in the bottom deck in any order. Second skill, auto Vanguard cycle. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater opponent's Vanguard, you can count pass 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. For mention. For the rear guard call skill, it is the open rear guard circle. My apologies. So saying, count pass 1, you look at top 7 cards of the deck, choose up to 2 grade 3 or less unit cards, call them into two open regard circles, and then for the turn, this unit gets 10 power. Shuffle your deck. So, yeah, Blunt Ezel itself is really more of a it's a really simple 5 attack deck, and I think it's pretty fun because you can essentially just maintain the Go Paladin aesthetics where you can top 7 to call 2 cards to do 2 more attacks. So with that being said, let's just put that to the right deck side, and let's go on the main deck. So here is a little bit of a lot of variation you can try. Okay, so I will go through that immediately right now. So in the main deck, I run 4 copies of Platina Ezel. So Platina Ezel skill is continuous Omega Circle. A if your soul has a blonde Ezel, for this unit gets all of its continuous and auto abilities and gets +2 as a power. I believe it's only one. I just realized my opponent cheated. Okay, whatever. That's another story. But yeah. So it gets all of its continuous and auto abilities and gets +2 as a power, which is active on its opponent's turn 2. So second skill, auto act on Vanguard once a turn. Count +1 or choose a Ezel from your rear guard circle and choose a grade 3 or greater Ezel rear guard and put in your soul. You choose a Ezel order from a drop, put it in your hand, and for this turn, this unit gets 5 power. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, this unit gets all the following abilities below. For this turn, this unit gets all your frontal units gets +5 power until end of turn, and if your damage is 4 or more, this unit gets a crit. So eventually, it's a limit break. Alright, so here is a little bit of a what do you call? Here is the variations that people can try playing this. So I will go to a little bit different now. So there are many ways you can play this deck. So I've seen people playing variations where they play Platina Ezel in the right deck and not playing the jump right, the go Platina right line, instead of playing Tranquilia. Some people play Saudios, the Alden right line basically, or some people are playing the Great One Tranquilia, and then the Great 2 you can play Blaster Dark. It's pretty unorthodox, which is why I kind of said someone individually cheated, and I just realized by now. So that's another server another day. I'll spin it a bit. So alright. So basically, people will play either like this. Like I've seen most of the decks I've seen online play the original right line, or some people play Tranquilia, Blaster Dark, or Tranquilia Saudios, the OG one, not the Destined one. Which depends on the situation and Professor your choose your Platina Ezel. So there are many ways you can do this. Honestly, in my opinion, at least to make it more simpler for Kaizer to play, and at least for my sake as well. I would rather play Platina Ezel in the main deck. You can, if you want to be more ballsy, you can do it by just earlier. But to be more consistent and much more more simpler to think through, I think this is my way to go. Yes, it delays your persona right by a turn. Although I would be honest that I think because of Platina Ezel's skill, you don't necessarily have to worry about not getting the persona right, because there are a lot of cards that give you power in this deck. So I'll go to more in a bit. So as a backup, I do run 3 Blonde Ezel. So I've seen people play like 2 copies of it, which is fine, but just to save the counterblast. In fact, this deck is really counterblast heavy, so I do want to save some resources, which is why I play 3 copies of Blonde Ezel in the main deck. And because you can fish back your order from the drop, you only play 1 copy of the Ezel order. So the Ezel order skills, you can play this card if your Vanguard is the Ezel Vanguard. So when you can look at top 7 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less unit card, call the regular circle, and then you get 5 apart and shuffle the deck. So, I mean, there'll be very rare situation where this will enemy damage, but let's not talk about that. So, initially when I was cooking the deck with Kaizer earlier, like today, we were considering putting it 2. But because I think we need more space for other stuff, I think 1 is perfectly fine. And I've tested the deck multiple times with him. I think 1's enough. I think it's just more than enough. You just need 1 copy because your Platina is already going to get that card back into your hand. So you don't have to worry about playing more than 1 copy of that. So let's put it there. Alright, so that's for the grade 3s. Now for the grade 2s, here's a new card. So I played 2 of what's it called? Slash Feather Dragon. Yeah. So this card skill is that continuous. If your Vanguard is an Ezel grade 2 or greater Vanguard, this unit gets the following abilities below. Auto, when this unit is placed over your circle, you can amass 1. You either draw a card or choose a Blonde Ezel Vanguard and change for that turn, change that drive to 2. So meaning to say, if you jump right and you have this in your hand, you can essentially just change the drive to 2. But in my honest opinion, you never want to use the change the draw too, because you're in Platinum Ezel deck, so there's no point doing that. I would rather just use that for a draw. I mean, you can if you want, but not really. I'd rather just get it for draw power. Second skill, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit for the battle, this unit gets final power. Then, at the end of the battle, you bot deck this unit, and if you bot deck it, you enter a street and draw a card. So essentially, what this does is actually to help your bot Ezel and help your Platinum Ezel even, just to give an open regard circle. So a lot of people say, well, it's not that great, but I think this card really helps a lot. And I will go through more in detail what you can replace if you want to make it more more semi-competitive. So next up, I play from Azure Dust. It's the Hammer. Yeah, I hope that's up correctly. Okay, so his skill is that auto mirror circle. When this unit attacks, if you have an Ezel Vanguard, choose one of the abilities below. It's either you choose your Vanguards, and for this turn, this unit it gets all your units in front row gets 5 power, and end of battle you bot deck this unit, or you choose a rear guard, a gold paladin rear guard, and then you at the end of the battle you bot deck that unit. So oh no, sorry, you put it back to hand. My apologies, I misspelled it. Wow. Okay, so yeah, you put it back to hand. So there's that. Yeah, essentially this is the card that kind of carries Ezel in the way, which allows you to give the front up a 5 power most of the time. Or if you want to recycle your Dindrains, you can just essentially put your back deck and take it back to your hand and call it again. So there's that. Alright, so the last grade 3 I run is I run 3 Catwallas. So Catwalla is okay. Now here's the little disclaimer I'll say. So if you want to make this more budget, no, I mean more viable, you can replace Catwalla with the Kitapal, so essentially Tefal in this case. So Catwalla skill, when this unit is auto rear circle, at the end of the battle this unit attack the Vanguard. If you have 4 or more units, you stop out one retire this unit, look at top 3 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 grade 2 or greater unit card, put your hand into the deck. If you did not add a card, you draw 1. So again, this helps to open up your open regard circles right there. So which is why I think in this case I pick Catwalla. Or at least Kaizer's been Catwalla. Alright, so that's it for the grade 2s. Now for the grade 1s. Grade 1s I play for Dindrain. So Dindrain skill, when this unit is placed on regard circle, if your Vanguard is only 1 clan, you can swap out 2 and counter charge 1. Second skill, on regard circle, when this unit at the end of this battle that your unit boosted, you can if you have a Ezel Vanguard, you choose a rear guard on the same column and bot deck it, and then you can stand this unit. So counter your deck. Initially, the initial builds of Kaizer playing is that he would play what's this card? Tartu? Is that the card? This card, yeah, basically. I kind of advise him not to play that card simply because it's very, very situational. And yes, it is kind of heavy, but honestly speaking, if your opponent's going to damage deny you, and also in the fact that it's very clunky, I told him I'd rather you play Dindrain because Dindrain is much controllable. So it's on demand. So if you want to use Dindrain to countercharge, you can just swap out to draw one. And you notice there's the 1 card in the deck I gave him specifically that he can actually use to speed up the soul and then to use as much as he could. So I'll go to that a little bit. So there's that. And for this, I play 4 Platinum Stallions. Platinum Stallion skill is that if your Vanguard has only Go Paladin in this clan, this unit is only from Go Paladin. So it essentially becomes a Go Paladin itself, which helps with a lot with his deck. And especially when playing with, like, say, this card, it allows you to bounce back to your hand. Or, well, not that it matters, but it's a Go Paladin regardless. So his skill, when this unit is placed in regard circle, if your Vanguard has only Go Paladin for its clan and it's grade 3 or greater, you enter the tree, look at the top 3 cards of the deck, choose up to 1 grade 3 or less unit card, call the regard circle, and put the rest in the bottom deck in any order. If you called, and at a turn, you bot deck this unit. So, essentially, it just gives you another card. What you freaking do? Okay, so here is the budget, a budget way to put Pump Soul. So I play for you Lils. So, if you want to be a bit more semi-competitive, I think Cocoa is the best option here. I am not crazy, and neither is Kaizer crazy to spend $140 on a playset of Cocoas Yes, I'm not kidding. It's $35 a copy. I am not shitting you. 30, we're not gonna spend $140 just for one playset of cards alone, just to play in a deck that's meant to be played casually. So instead, we're playing this instead, and we are never gonna bring this deck to a competitive setting, not even once. And even if it is, this deck ain't gonna be viable in competitive meta. I'll just say that first. Alright, so the skill is that when this unit is placed on rigor circle by ability of your card, you may soul charge too. So essentially, so for your Dindri or for your Cat Wall, that's pretty much it. And also, but Blonde has a skill if you want to put that there. So, yep, it's what it is. I mean, it's literally, this is literally from my old on stash. So I was literally finding my archive and like, wait, what cards we have here? Oh shit, we have this to actually put in there. So it works. I mean, okay. So before I move on to let's put it out there. I'll put 4 effect BGs, but ideally put 1% too, obviously. If you want to make this, put the Keter Pound here. Okay, so where do we start? Okay. Definitely take out Planet Mains for Sargons. This for Tiffall. If you want to play the order, you can reduce one Blonde Ezel, or maybe if you want to cut space, you can cut on one Dinder. But you can play on the ratios. It's ultimately up what you want to play. I don't play them in another order if you're on a budget, or if you can afford more, which I'm pretty sure some of you will or not, depending on the situation. You can play the Naval Knights order. That also works. Alright, so here's the triggers. Now I'll say first, the triggers are not correct. I've been telling Kaizer to actually change the lineup, but unfortunately due to his work commitments, he has not done so. And I will say right now what you should be playing, ideally. So this is not what you're supposed to play. You're supposed to play the red OT or the blue OT. Purple OT, no, because you can heal, yeah, but you don't want to waste that one half the skill, don't you? So, red OT, blue OT, maybe the yellow OT if you want to be able to troll your opponent. I mean that's fine. Or if you want to be very budget, you can actually play Obaria, the troll OT. That also works fine, perfectly. But no, do not play the key OT. It's not worth it in my opinion. This is also not correct. He's playing Rainbow, which is not ideal. I keep telling Kaiser to keep changing back the crits. I mean, the crits are obviously very easy to get. I don't know why he didn't get it. Whatever, this is not none of my business. It's up to him. I'm not gonna force him there. But pretend these are 8 crits. And then depending on your playstyle, you can play either fronts or draws. If you want more pieces, you can play draws, but if you want to be more aggressive, you can play fronts. Depending on what fronts you want to play, you want to play the slow fronts, which also work, which helps to pump more for your for your cards in your deck. You can play the slow fronts. If you want a bit more shield, you can play the shield fronts, and as usual, the 4 vanilla heals. So yeah, that's my take on Kaizer's deck and my personal advice on the deck. So I will say once again, this is not a deck you will want to bring competitively. If you want to make competitive, sure, but in my opinion, it's not worth it. And I have talked to a lot of Ezel players about this, and yeah, this deck is okay at most of the locals. It never goes beyond in the competitive setting unless you're playing for fun, which is a different story for itself. But in the end of the day, I tested the deck. It works. Other than this, but it works. It just needs a bit of play testing and a bit more fine tuning just to make the deck work properly, at least for Kaizer. For me, this works for me, but Kaizer, I'm not sure if that works for him. That's up to him to decide. But if I were to play the Ezel, this is what I will play, essentially. So with that being said, that's it for my deck profile. Thank you guys so much for watching this deck profile. Once again, shout out to Kaizer. Thanks for letting me do a deck profile on his deck. Stay tuned for more videos. I've got more deck profiles and more content coming, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.